Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with it's his first back issue comic haul, his first bitch of 2019. I know it's it's already February, so yeah, I just haven't been picking up a ton of books lately. I don't know why, but maybe it's the winter or whatever the case is, but I do definitely have enough to do a bitch here, and so I got a lot of books here, so let's get crack-a-lackin'. But before I get started, turns out I'm going on vacation the middle of March, and I'm going to go with the family to Los Angeles, and we're going to be staying right downtown Los Angeles. And it looks like my wife is going to give me a day, which I think it's the Wednesday the 13th, to go comic hunting. And I know this is probably the touristy, the the trendy thing to do, but I'm going to try to hit up Frankenson's. I've never been there, so I'd like to check that out. And if anybody is in the area and would like to meet up, I would sure love to maybe put some faces to voices kind of thing, and meet up and talk a little bit, maybe do some hunting, that type of thing. So if anyone lives in the Los Angeles area and is available sometime that Wednesday, hit me up. I'd love to meet you. So, but yeah, let's get going here with the books. First off, did a trade with a fellow YouTuber, Vida Loca, George. If you're not familiar with him, it's VIDA LOCA is his YouTube channel. I'll try to write it in the description. So please give him a sub if you have not. He's a great guy, and I'm sure if you're subbed to me, you're subbed to him. But I had made mention a few bitches back that I was in need of one of the original Gen 13 #1 variants to finish my set. And he reached out to me and told me that he had the one and would like to do a trade. And I said, heck yeah. So we did a trade. And I'm going to show the last, but this is a recap of the Gen 13 #1s. And I need to preface, I'm a little embarrassed, but for some reason I can't find one of them. I cannot find the blank cover with grunge up on the upper top, I think it is. I know I've got it. I know I've had more than one of it. But for some reason, I just can't find it. And if for some reason I traded it or whatever, I guess I'll have to get another one. But regardless, I'm going to show you what I got right now. So here's the regular, I think they call this the Charge cover that is done by J. Scott Campbell. Then you've got the Thumbs Up cover here, once again done by J. Scott Campbell. You've got the X-Babies parody. The Simon Bisley Conan, it's not Conan, it's Heavy Metal parody. Here you have the McFarlane Spider-Man parody done by John Cleese. Then we have what they call the mass merchandise variant. Sorry about that. Here is one of my favorites. This is the Brady Bunch parody. Another J. Scott Campbell. This is the paper doll cutout variant. And the Sandman homage. Here is the 3D version of the Thumbs Up J. Scott Campbell cover. This is another one of my favorites, the Pulp Fiction parody. And that's the next two are my favorites. This one is the Janet Jackson Rolling Stones homage. And then the last one I got from George. This is the Victoria's Secret catalog parody. So very, very happy to have this set finally completed. And thank you so much, George. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to recenter this. All right. Next book here. Showing this book for a couple of reasons. This is Razer and She Special. This is the Linsner cover. There is another cover version of this. I prefer the Linsner cover. As I said, I'm showing this two reasons. I've shown this book, like about a year ago, I think I bought it. Maybe, I don't know. But apparently Kabuki has been optioned for a television show. And this is the first appearance of Kabuki. Now, some people want to say that this is the first appearance of Kabuki, which is Negative Burn 16. This is an anthology series, kind of like Dark Horse Presents, that sort of thing. But this came out in October, and this came out in, I believe, June of that same year. So this does predate it. It's not a cameo. It's like 5 or 6 pages of Kabuki in there. So, yeah. So this is, if you're a Kabuki fan, which I think Beauty Comics and Orlando Perlez and a few other people are Kabuki fans. If you want her first appearance, this is it right here. And as I stated, she has been apparently optioned for a television show. All right, moving along. Let's grab this stack here. All right, here's my doubles that I've picked up in the last few weeks here. So if anyone's interested in these for trade and or purchase, just let me know. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 15, the Alex Ross cover. Amazing Spider-Man 360. This is the first cameo of Carnage. Web of Spider-Man 31, Part 1 of Kraven's Last Hunt. Now, this is only my opinion, and I have no way to substantiate it, but I do preface by stating that I do actively look for Kraven's Last Hunt books, and if I see them, I do always pick them up. And in my experience, this seems to be the hardest of the 6 issues to find. Once again, I have no way to prove if that's true or not, but just in my experience, for some reason, Part 1 or Web of Spider-Man 31 seems to be the hardest one to find, and this happens to be a newsstand. All right, picked up Batman Dark Knight number 3, just this gorgeous David Finch. First appearance of White Rabbit. I'm just a sucker for this cover. Whenever I see it, I'll pick it up. So again, these are for sale and or trade. Here is part 2 of the Flashpoint Batman Night of the Vengeance. This is the story of which Bruce Wayne dies in the alley. Thomas Wayne, his father, becomes Batman, and Martha Wayne becomes Joker. Found a copy of Ghost Rider 21, first appearance of Vengeance. Found a copy of Green Arrow Black Canary 17, first appearance of Cupid. Found Futures End 46. This is the death of Terry McGinnis or Batman Beyond. Matrix. I found another copy of The Matrix. This is the Recalled comic. All right. X-Force Sex and Violence number 2, this gorgeous Del Auto cover. And that's all of the doubles. So if anyone, once again, is interested in a trade and or sale, just hit me up. All right. Found a couple of Neil Adams covers. I'm always a Neil Adams guy. So this is Action Comics 376. And this one here is just a stunner of a cover. I love this book right here. House of Secrets number 91. Just absolutely love this cover. Done by Neil Adams once again. Found Adventures of Adventure Comics 404. Just working on that run still. Found, I'm a sucker for independent books, and if I find them cheap enough, if I'm not familiar with them, I'll pick them up, even though I may not know what they are. For example, I don't know anything about this book. Done a little bit of research, but nothing to, I haven't found out anything. This is called Aegis, Aegis, and it's done by some person named Becky, and I cannot remember her last name. She's out of Florida. If anybody knows about this, maybe they can let me know. This particular one came out in 1997, so this has to be like an ash can or a promo of some sort. I doubt it was a Kickstarter. I don't think they were doing Kickstarters in 1997. And then here's Aegis number 1, which came out in 2001. They're both signed by the artist, too, so right there and right there, so that's kind of cool. Like I said, if anybody knows anything about these, they're probably worth nothing, but for a buck or two, I'm going to pick them up. Here is a book off my 2019 want list, Amazing Spider-Man 22. Is it the first appearance of, is it Princess Python, I believe? But regardless, now with this book, I have everything from 17, excuse me, until it ends. I need 16 is the next one. So 17 until it ends. I have everything. And I only need 12 issues to finish Volume 1, and I do have Volume 2 done. So, all right. Batman, found a couple more Batmans. Here's 137 and 130. So now, with these 2 issues, I have everything in Volume 1 of Batman from 137 until it ends on 7/13, as well as the 52 issues of the New 52. And somewhat good chunk of rebirth. But so, and then I also upgraded my Batman and Robin 2, or Batman 237. This is just another stunning Neil Adams cover. Love this red, and it's the first appearance of the Reaper. And so there will be one of these available. It's pretty darn rough, but if you're looking for a cheap copy of this book, just hit me up. Found some Frank Miller Batman and Robin All-Star variants. And these are so ugly, they started to grow on me, if that makes any sense. But man, they are some ugly covers. But here is number 3 with Black Canary. Here is number 4 with Superman. And lastly, number 7 with Batman. Now, this one I don't mind. I just remember in the 90s when Dark Knight came out, the Frank Miller Return of the Dark Knight. And issue 2 was such, that cover, I can remember seeing it in comic shops and how absolutely resonating that cover was, and how it just redefined Batman, and how absolutely unattainable those books were. They were so expensive back then. So yeah, it definitely reminds me of that. Found another book off my want list, Blue Beetle #1. This is the original. If you see the blue M up there, that's the modern reprint. This is the first appearance of The Question, another great Steve Ditko creation. And can't believe it took this long to get this in my collection. I can remember starting to look for this probably, I don't know, about a year ago. And even then, it was starting to creep up. I mean, at one point, this was a $30, $40 book. And now you cannot find a VG copy of this book raw for under $100. Easily go for over $100. Yeah, definitely happy to get this in my collection. Did not pay over $100 for this book, so very, very happy to have that. Found some Brave and the Bolds to click off my run collection. Here's number 65 with Flash and the Doom Patrol. This is a cover that I absolutely love. I've never really seen this in the wild. I know if I did, I would have bought this book probably 2-3 times. There's just something about this cover. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something that just really gravitates with me. And this is Supergirl and Wonder Woman issue number 63. Here is number 55 with Metalman and the Atom. 53 with the Atom and the Flash. And lastly, Aquaman and Hawkman, issue number 51. Now I just need to find issue 52. And if I can get that issue, I have everything where it starts with the team up on issue 50. All I need is 52 to make a consecutive run of that. So, and it ends on issue 200, I believe. So I have well over 150 Brave and the Bold issues. So yeah, happy about that. All right. Made my third Instagram purchase where I bought, this is the third person I bought off of Instagram. His name is AB. Very great person. Easy to work with. Sorry about that. Easy to work with. Very, very reasonable prices. You got to be quick, otherwise his books move instantly. But these are the second print to the Shadowland Daredevil storyline. I always liked the Shadowland, and so if I can get the second prints, I'm always looking for that. Here's number 508. This is the one I really like, 509. It's obviously an homage to I can't remember what issue that one is, but definitely an homage to that, and it just reverses it's Daredevil on that one, caressing the gravestone of Elektra. And then this one was the one I was really happy to get. Deathstroke number 10. This is the Liefeld variant. And I know it's Liefeld, but there is just something about this cover. I'm a huge Deathstroke and a huge Lobo fan. So if you can amalgam the two together like that, I'm all about it. And this was so expensive. He did have a price on it, which was more expensive than I wanted to spend, but him and I bantered back and forth, and then he finally rested on an offer that even the Godfather couldn't refuse. So I definitely jumped on it, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Also bought from him Jonah Hex number 92. This is the last issue of Jonah Hex, and then it just becomes Hex after that. Or reboots with Hex. I know Master X is a big Jonah Hex fan. Miss you, Master X. Hope you're doing well, and I hope to see a video from you soon. Here is another one I picked up from him. This is Classic Star Wars number 2. The reason I purchased this one is that it's an Adam Hughes cover, and I think Adam Hughes did 2 covers in this series. Could be wrong on that one, but I know for sure at least he did 2 of them. All right. And then another book off the want list. Here is Fantastic Four number 23. Relatively early Doctor Doom cover. And then number 21 is also off the want list. This is the first appearance of the Hate Monger. It is so hard to pick up Fantastic Four books these days. I'm telling you, it's not the right time to be buying those. I'm patient about it, but wow, are they just crazily priced. And I don't think that's a secret to anybody. But yeah, very, very happy to. And now with this book, I have everything of Fantastic Four Volume 1. I have 19 until it ends, and I have volumes 2 and 3 complete also. So I need that elusive first Super Scrolls, but I'm patient about that. Speaking of Fantastic Four, this is the Fireside book of Fantastic Four. Now, if you're not familiar with the Fireside books, they came out in the 70s and early 80s. I think there was like 18 or 20 of them. All but one are reprints, but keep in mind that back in those days, that was the way that you got, early appearances was in reprints. And so these were kind of sought after. And obviously the more coveted ones are Bring on the Bad Guys, Sons of Origins, those ones. And then obviously the Silver Surfer one is the big one because that's the original story. But this one here is Fantastic Four. This reprints the first Submariner, issue number 4, and then the Galactus, first Galactus and Silver Surfer. So happy to have that. A couple of Turner covers here. Here is Fathom number 4, Michael Turner cover. And Soulfire number 10. That's a beautiful cover. All right. Picked up Green Arrow 41. This is the Bill Sienkiewicz variant to the Joker month that they did a few months back, about a year ago or so. Picked up a couple of Wizard Aces. Similar to the Fireside books, Wizard... They reprinted milestone issues, and I use that term somewhat loosely on some of the ones they chose to reprint. This one being a case in point, but they did obviously some early Spider-Mans, Hulk 181, some other Hulk books, and there's over 30 of the Ace versions. And I know I have about 15, so I've got about half of them maybe. And when I'm a sucker for these acetate covers, and all of them have the acetates. This one here is reprints Dark Horse Presents, which is the first appearance of Concrete as the main driver in that one. And then here's Mars Attacks, reprints Mars Attacks. All right. Got to give a shout out to Metarog on this one, Roger. He kind of jogged my memory, and I am working on this set. He has the complete set. I'm so envious. But this is the So Much Fun or classic reprints that they did. There's quite a few of them. DC, they did Marvel, they did Archie, quite a few of them. And they were all limited to 5,000, and they were released in, I believe, in 3-packs. And I think they were through JCPenney or somebody like that. Please check out Metarog's recap on that. He's so knowledgeable on that stuff. But I am working on my set, and how you can tell with the Marvel is, and this one makes it arguably the harder of the ones to find. If you see right there, it says Classic right above this guy's head right here. And it's so dark right there that you easily pass it, whereas on the other Marvel ones it's fairly recognizable, and so they're easier to find. So yeah, this is Incredible Hulk 335. They did the so much fun. They did the first Sinister, Mr. Sinister. They did that one and a few other nice books. So yeah, thank you so much for jogging my memory on completing that set. Still working on it. Finally finished my Miracle Man volume 1 through 24. Here's 23 and 24. So very, very happy to finally complete that. I believe Beauty Comics, I don't know if Beauty watches my channel or not, but he's working on this, or maybe completed it. In fact, I think he completed the Gen 13 set too, now that I think about it. But the two, just to recap real quickly, Miracle Man, issues 1 through 16 were done through my favorite writer, bar none, Alan Moore. And then from 17 through 24, it was completed by Neil Gaiman. Arguably, the two money books are issues 15 and 24. And I am very happy to finally have that set complete. All right. Picked up Star Wars #1. I have the Whitman version, and I use the term, people have associated the moniker reprint, Whitman reprint, with those. And to be honest, in all my research, Whitman is not a reprint. And I know this is not going to be popular, but all my research is pointing that while they were printed the exact same time as the regular issues, all they did was change the printing press and plates or whatever, and and then they kept the UPC blank and changed the price code up there, box up there, but they were printed the exact same time. But regardless, they suffer from that moniker, and therefore they go for a fraction of the price of the regular issue. But regardless, I'm happy to have this, and now I just need, I think it's issues 27 and 53 to complete all of volume 1. Got to get out the Schneid and pick those two up. Superman 278. Only reason I'm showing this is now I have a consecutive run of Superman from 267 until it ends, all the way up till the new 52. So if you haven't guessed by now, I am a big run completist. And for the longest time, that was kind of a derogatory thing. You had to be a key collector. But no, I've always been a run collector, and I love long runs of books. So, all right, moving along here. Tales of Suspense 50, first appearance of the Mandarin. I can't believe it took me this long to get this book, but in all truthfulness, I'm not the biggest Shellhead, and definitely not the biggest Mandarin fan, especially considering what they did to him in Iron Man 3, the worst of the MCU movies as far as I'm concerned. But regardless, I still absolutely appreciate, recognize, and respect the effects that they've had on the MCU and the Marvel universe, and absolutely respect the characters. All right, so Tales of Suspense number 50 and 53, I picked up the second appearance of the Black Widow. Comic Book Estate, big Black Widow fan. Happy I do have her first appearance, and to be honest, I like this cover better than I like her first appearance, so happy to have it though. All right, Thundercats 24. This is the last issue out of the Marvel series, and it is a newsstand. And with the last issue, you got the low print run, hard to find, blah blah blah. But yeah, regardless, and I remember my first child being a kind of a big Thundercats fan too. So, Wonder Woman 83. This beautiful Brian Boland cover. Getting a little bit of attention lately. Mercenot's showing it. A few other people have. I've shown it quite a few times, as a matter of fact. This one is a newsstand, so it will be staying in my collection, but happy to have both versions of that. World's Finest. This one's a little bit interesting. This is issue 211. And the reason this is interesting is it says right here, the Bureau of Missing Villains brings back the Golden Age Harlequin. Let's see what the Golden Age Harlequin looks like, shall we? There you go, comic fan, if you watch my stuff. All right. Okay, there is the Golden Age Harlequin. Quite a difference than what we see in the current version of Harlequin, huh? All right, so here is also World's Finest 216 and 164. So with those three issues, I have everything, a consecutive run of World's Finest from 148 until it ends on 323, I believe it is. So well over 175 consecutive World's Finest issues. So another series I'm working on. All right, almost done. Let's end up with some magazines here. All right, first one here is Metal Zoic. This is book 6 of the original DC graphic novels. They did 7 graphic novels. I know I talk a lot about Marvel graphic novels, the original 75, but DC actually did some too. And the big money book in that 7 issue run is Hunger Dogs. But this one here completes. This is the only one I needed, number 6. So I have all 7 of the original DC graphic novels. Speaking of Marvel graphic novels, this is Conan, The Ravager's Out of Time. I only need one more of the Conan Marvel graphic novels. And as a matter of fact, I only need 8 more of the original 75 to have all 75. The only Conan I'm missing is the Rogue. And to be honest, people want way too much money for that book, and it's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned. So I'll be patient, and or if somebody has one for trade or whatever the case is, let me know. But if I can get that Conan Rogue, and if I could get the Howard the Duck one, then I would do a showcase of the 75 Marvel graphic novels. That'd be close enough. I'd only need 6 then. So, all right. And picked up Marvel Preview number 1. Just a great Neil Adams cover. This is Man Gods. Just another series I'm working on. Okay, this here book. Wow, I've been looking for this one I can't remember who first showed this, but this is Wonder Woman, and I'm going to butcher this, but it's Hike Keisha, I believe. And the reason I've wanted this book since the day I saw it was just this absolutely stunning J.G. Jones. It's such a minimalist cover, in my opinion, but wow, is that a statement cover and then some. Too bad he doesn't do the interiors, but when I first saw it, I looked it up, and it got a little confusing because there's multiple printings. Not only that, but there's multiple languages of this book, so be cautious when you're looking for this book if you choose to look for this book. And not only that, but if you look on eBay, they all want big money for it as usual. But be patient, wait for it to go on auction, and you can get it pretty reasonably. So, all right. And then this last book here, I'm going to set the table for it a little bit. It came out in 1963, September of 1963. That's the same year and month that the Avengers 1 came out and Uncanny X-Men number 1 came out. 1963, also keep in mind, there was no cell phones, no personal computers, no internet, no cell phones, no cable televisions. This predated Kinko's and places that you could go get things printed very easily and quickly. This predated comic conventions. There weren't comic conventions in 1963. So how you would get, if you were a fledgling artist, one of the ways you would get your work out was to possibly create what they called fanzines, which were fans that created like a magazine format. And once again, with no way to expose, get the exposure out there through advertising and at conventions or on the internet or whatnot, it was very, very hard for them to sustain any length of time. So anything over 10 issues was a success. So like I said, that's basically one of the only ways they could get new artists get their work out, as well as to just ship it to the big comic people. But this is comic or Star-Studded Comics #1, which I said came out in 1963. It was created by the Texas Trio, and the important one to me is Howard Keltner. If there was no Howard Keltner, the comic landscape would be vastly different, in my opinion, than it is now. I mean, Overstreet would be probably a lot different than it is now. The way that we are able to index our superheroes and, associate things and first appearances and things of that nature, all because Howard Keltner was one who helped engineer that. Not only that, but he also created this character right here, Dr. Weird. I know that may sound familiar because Mercenot just showed Dr. Weird, and I know Orlando Perles showed Dr. Weird, which was done by Jim Starlin and George R.R. Martin. They did not create the character. It was created by Howard Keltner. And what even makes this even harder and more sought after is this is only limited to 250 books. So to have one of 250 books that came out in 1963 is unbelievable, in my opinion. So I am just beyond stoked and geeked to have this book. And, anybody that really understands the history of comics, people like Comic Quarter 410, Howler Mouse, After Comics, they know what this book is all about. So I'm about ready to get cut off here, so I apologize to end this abruptly, but a lot of books I just showed. So this is Vin Cruz saying thank you for taking this journey with me. Once again, if anybody would like to meet up at the Frankensons on March 13th, please reach out to me, and I would love to get together. Maybe have a YouTube thing that day or that evening, a dinner or something. So thanks so much. Vin Cruz signing off.